It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm John Cruz, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever seen a lynx? They're rare, that's for sure. But I did see one. At least, I think I did once, bounding over a snow berm in front of us about 20 years ago in the Cascade Mountains. Well, if things continue, your odds of seeing a lynx is going to go up. This week, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced that the Canada lynx in the lower 48 states may no longer be in danger of extinction. Due to recovery and conservation efforts spanning nearly 2 decades, the species doesn't need the extra protections provided by the Endangered Species Act, where they've been listed since the year 2000. In fact, Canada lynx have recently been spotted in parts of New Hampshire and Vermont, while the largest Canada lynx population south of Canada resides in nearby Maine. Lynx are also present in portions of Colorado, Minnesota, Montana, Idaho, and my home state, Washington. Some have even dispersed from Colorado into areas of New Mexico and Wyoming. Why are the lynx making a comeback? Well, I think a lot of credit goes to both public land managers and private landowners across the country who've worked really hard to make this happen, improving forest habitat and land management with an eye towards protecting the population of these animals. Just goes to show, when you work together and make our forests better, you can do great things for wildlife before they reach the brink of extinction. And in this case, actually lead them to recovery and have a conservation success. This is good news indeed. This week on America Outdoors Radio, pheasant season is over for most of us, but it does continue in a few Midwestern and Western states, and Jared Wiklund with Pheasants Forever has got some advice to help you bag an end-of-season rooster. Not only is Jared going to give you some good hunting tips, but he's also going to invite you to attend Pheasant Fest, that fun-filled national convention for Pheasants Forever taking place next month in South Dakota. It's Sportsman Show Season 2, and we'll tell you about 2 of them this week. One of them is the Fly Fishing Show. This is a traveling exhibition for fly anglers of all skill levels with several fishing celebrity speakers, lots of hands-on activities and seminars, and a whole bunch of vendors who would love to take you fly fishing in locations around the country and around the world. Ben Furmisky, the president and CEO of the Fly Fishing Show, will tell you where this show is going to land next and when it's going to be coming to a location near you. After that, we'll tell you about the biggest sportsman show on the continent. It's the Great American Outdoors Show. It's kicking off February 3rd in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Jason Brown with the National Rifle Association will explain why people from all over the country will be coming to this huge event. Speaking of huge, we'll be telling you about some huge tuna being reeled in down Mexico way, and we'll also give you more great conservation news about big game animals in Alaska that are making a nice comeback. However, before we get into all of this, we've got something very, very interesting to share with you. Next on America Outdoors Radio, we just got through the holiday season, and you probably saw that famous movie, A Christmas Story. You know the one where Ralphie wants a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, but everyone tells him, you're going to shoot your eye out. Well, guess what? If Ralphie had the Dust Devil frangible BBs from Air Venturi, he would have never had to worry about that. With us here to tell you more about it is Kristen Kosh. She's the marketing and PR guru with Air Venturi. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Kristen, this is really an innovative idea. BBs that break apart, how do these differ from the normal copper BBs that we've been firing at targets and downrange for years from our BB guns?
Well, first off, the normal BBs that you're talking about are copper-plated, and they're made mostly of steel. And steel, as we all know, and as Ralphie found out, ricochets off of many hard surfaces. So frangible ammo has been around in the firearm industry for quite a while, and we wanted to take that concept and just bring it over onto the airgun side. So these crumble upon impact, and it just provides a much safer shooting experience.
This has implications to really change air rifle shooting and allow people to shoot in places and in situations they never have before, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What you can do now with these frangible BBs, these Dust Devils, is that you can shoot in closer quarters. You can also shoot in your basement. What we find is that with air guns, there's lots of replica air guns out there that are the replicas of their firearm counterparts. So what you can do is you can practice in your basement with your BB pistol that you might have the firearm equivalent of. So this really, especially in these cold months, we're just getting through a snap here in this winter time. In these cold months, it provides a different shooting experience that you can do in your basement or closer quarters.
Here's a question for you. How does, obviously it's not made of copper and steel, and I don't want you to give away trade secrets, but if you can tell us, what are these frangible BBs made of, and how do they differ ballistically from the BBs we're used to shooting out of our air rifles and air pistols?
Okay, so basically, without giving too many trade secrets away, it's mainly comprised of mostly iron and some other metals. And basically, this just provides a different composition that you're not going to see it, you're not going to feel anything different as you shoot out of your gun, but you will see it when it has less of an impact. Now, we always recommend people to still wear their shooting glasses and provide, additional safety precautions as you would with any gun, but this has less of a ricochet. So these will crumble upon impact and fall to the ground, and no dust comes out into the air. So it's a very safe shooting experience.
And do they fire as far as a regular BB, or are they lighter and maybe they don't go as far?
You're not going to see any difference in terms of the performance. So they actually are a little bit faster. We found that the velocity, it shoots about 10% faster than your traditional steel BBs. They shoot just as far, and, it's just an all-around, like I keep saying, a safer shooting experience with that.
Say that 5 times fast, Kristen. Okay. Yes. All right. So here's the next question for you. When it comes to the Dust Devil frangible BBs, are the materials safe? Especially if you're shooting indoors, maybe the dog's going to be sniffing around, maybe you've got kids crawling around. Are the materials safe?
Yes. Well, the materials are lead-free. So for the people out in California where lead is a more of a concern, just from a legal standpoint, this is a much safer BB to have on hand. We wouldn't recommend ingesting it. Don't put it as a side to your steak and your potatoes for Sunday night dinner. But it is lead-free, and, it is safer to ingest. Part of the issue with lead BBs is that if, any wildlife ingests them, there's a possibility for harm. But with a lead-free composition, it's a much safer BB in case somebody accidentally ingests it.
Well, Kristen, you've got me sold on these. So the last question I have for you is this. Are the Dust Devil frangible BBs available in stores now, and how can I get my hands on them?
They will be available in stores starting in March of 2018, and you can look for them in your local big box retailer. And if you just do your Google search and look for Dust Devil BBs, you'll be able to find them online as well.
That's the Dust Devil frangible BBs. They're from Air Venturi. Kristen, I can't wait to get my hands on some. Thanks for telling us about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you consider yourself a hardcore fisherman who takes pride in being the first person on the water and the last one off, Fish Fighter products were designed for you. We make products for the relentless fishermen who know that big fish are caught by those who put in the work. With our Relentless Series tackle trays, rocket launcher rod racks, and breakaway river anchors, you'll spend more time chasing the fish, not your gear. Designed and built right here in the USA, Fish Fighter products won't let you down. Gear up at fishfighterproducts.com.
There's no more majestic, magical, adventuresome country than the western United States of America to enjoy a great family vacation. Hello, I'm Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inns. Shiloh Inns are still offering affordable 4-star accommodations at 2-star prices. Enjoy deluxe smoke-free suites, spacious pools and spas, and fully equipped fitness centers. From free high-speed internet in every room to a free continental breakfast or full, hot, delicious breakfast at most Shiloh Inns. There are no hidden fees like some of the big chain hotels charge. Even the kids stay free, and Shiloh Inns are dog-friendly. For reservations, call 1-800-222-2244 or visit our website at shilohinns.com. Shiloh Inns, affordable excellence. American family-owned and proud of it.
Where can you find 4 rivers, 3 great fisheries, 2 majestic mountains, and 1 fantastic adventure all year round? Sensational The Dalles. Active community, authentic food, and great beer. ExploreTheDalles.com. Come and create your own adventure, and maybe even you can hook a river monster in the Dalles.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. It's time to talk pheasant, and there's no person that's better to talk about pheasant hunting with than Jared Wiklund, who's with Pheasants Forever. Jared, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You know, Jared, it is the middle of January. Pheasant season is over, except for just a few remaining states, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado. There's still some hardy pheasant hunters out there, but for all of those pheasant hunters whose season has ended and were slogging through the snow and the ice the last few weeks, and for those that remain, do you have some late-season pheasant hunting tactics that might make the difference between a cold, unsuccessful hunt and coming home with a few roosters?
I do. You know, it's been kind of a different year. It was wet and warm right away, and then the end of the season in a lot of these different states, we've just had bitter cold weather. I mean, below zero temperatures. And when it gets down, when the temperature drops, thermometer drops below zero, you know, the pheasants are bunched up, and they're extremely flighty, and they don't want to be bothered during the cold temps. They want to stay put. So a few things I recommend is number one, don't start at the parking lot. You know, a lot of people do the same thing week in and week out. They'll pull up, they'll park in the same spot and kind of walk the same areas. You know, looking at maps, whether you're using a public lands atlas or maybe Onyx Maps, which is a favorite tool of mine to find great pheasant hunting areas, you know, looking at that map, maybe working with a landowner, seeing if you can access a public property through private property, getting to the back of these areas and coming at the birds from a different angle and maybe a different time of day can really pay dividends, because those birds are sitting there waiting to hear people getting out of their trucks in the parking lot. So that would be number one. Number two, going back to the private land I just mentioned, late season is a great time to ask permission from landowners, and there's not enough people that do it because they think they're just going to get denied. But a lot of these landowners are open to allowing, you know, public access on their property after deer season especially. I've had really good luck late season, even this year, getting access to parcels, and then I ask again for the coming year, you know, so do you mind if I come back and maybe hunt it after the deer season? And a lot of times they're going to say yes, which is good. Stealth is absolutely key. So even if you are parking at those same parking areas, not slamming your door, not keeping your engine running, don't have the music on, try to keep the dogs quiet because, they're excited and ready to go. Those little cues will push pheasants to the back of a public area that you're hunting, and when you start walking and making noise, they're gonna jet out of there for safer havens. So that's a big one. And then I think the last one, and what I really tend to focus on when there's cold and snow, which a lot of these states have, in January, in the month of January, is focusing on thermal cover next to food. When that temperature drops, when the mercury dives and it's below zero, those birds are huddled up and they're in thermal cover, keeping warm and trying not to expend a lot of energy. They can stay in one spot for a couple days if they need to without having to eat, but focusing on thermal cover next to food is extremely important. Kind of related to a household, right? It's a lot easier. If you're hungry during the middle of the night, having the bedroom next to the kitchen makes it pretty easy. That's what it is in my house. And it's the same for pheasants and all the upland game birds. They are trying to find thermal cover that's right next to a reliable food source where they can come out of their areas, come out of switchgrass, come out of cattails, maybe some tree plantings, go straight to grain access, get a few bites, and head straight back so they're not exposed to that weather for long periods of time. So those would be my top 4.
Wow. We may as well just end the interview right here and right now because you basically just nailed it in terms of late season pheasant hunting. However, I've got another question for you. It has nothing to do with pheasant hunting. Instead, it has to do with Pheasant Fest. That's the national convention that Pheasants Forever has. I understand it's taking place February 16th through the 18th in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Tell our listeners more about that.
Sioux Falls is the nation's largest event for bird dog owners, upland game enthusiasts, conservationists in general, landowners and producers. It's a really big show. It's defined by dogs. It opens with a bird dog parade, and it's really got a little bit of something for everybody. You can bring the kids to the show. We've got what's called a Rudy's Youth Village as our mascot. You can shoot bows and BB guns, take part in a fishing simulator, hands-on crafts, and get a youth membership while you're there. We've got Bird Dog Alley and the Bird Dog Bonanza stage, 200 years of bird dog training experience with Rick, Ronnie, and Delmar Smith. We've got Tom Dokken, who makes the Dokken dummy trainers that a lot of people use to train their pups throughout the year. Josh Miller from Sport Dog. Anything you need to know about bird hunting is there. For landowners, we've got a landowner habitat help desk, create a free conservation plan for you through our Farm Bill Biologist partnership program. And then we have over 400 vendors, and that's everything, from outdoor gear to outfitters to mom and pop stores to everything else in between. It's our 35th anniversary this year, the 100th anniversary of pheasant hunting in the state of South Dakota. It's looking right now like our banquets are sold out, but people can still call our offices if they're looking for tickets for banquets. The Friday night, Pheasantennial Friday, is basically a big social hour with games and raffles with all the money going to support wildlife habitat conservation efforts in the state of South Dakota. So I hope people come out for it. It's going to be a wonderful event. It's $10 at the door, free with your South Dakota license, and it truly is the nation's largest event for upland hunters.
Oh, this sounds like a wonderful event, and it's a shame that those banquet tickets are sold out, but even without that, it looks like it's worth attending, and I'd love to see that bird dog parade. How many folks tend to come to the Pheasants Forever Bird Fest every year?
National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic last year, we had just shy of 31,000 in Minneapolis. This year, you're looking at our banquet numbers and stuff where we've got, both nights sold out at 1,300 people. If that reflects anything to the show floor, it's going to be a big show. It'll be probably way over 20,000, probably over 25,000. It is the smallest city we've ever attended, but also, you can't get any more, rich in your traditions of bird hunting than visiting South Dakota. So we're excited for it, and again, it kind of plays into if you want to help extend your pheasant season, you may not be out there chasing roosters. But you're going to be with a bunch of like-minded individuals, hunters, conservationists. Come on out to the National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic February 16th through the 18th in Sioux Falls.
Sounds like a great event, and like you said, it sounds like a great way to not only extend the season, but get ready for the next one. Lots of educational seminars where you can do just that, and lots of hunts you can book for a great 2018 and 2019. Let's give out the website so folks can find out more about attending the National Pheasant Fest.
National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic, you can find out more about it by visiting www.pheasantfest.org, or you can log on to pheasantsforever.org and be taken to the website. But pheasantfest.org has everything you need, and all of our seminars and programs are up there now under the seminar schedule.
That's Jared Wiklund with Pheasants Forever telling you all about how to bag more birds in the late season and about the National Pheasant Fest coming up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota this February. Jared, thanks a lot. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for your support, John. Appreciate it very much.
More habitat equals more wildlife. Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. Join the habitat leader and help create wildlife habitat in your community. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.
Looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer an affordable platform to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting host John Cruz through his website at AmericanOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. But hurry, if you wait too long, this big opportunity might just get away. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
If you consider yourself a hardcore fisherman who takes pride in being the first person on the water and the last one off, Fish Fighter products are designed and built for you right here in the USA. Fish Fighter products are used by the top fishing guides in the Northwest because they know having the right equipment is imperative to a successful fishing trip. With our Relentless Series tackle trays, rocket launcher rod racks, and breakaway river anchors, Fish Fighter products makes the gear you can count on. Find out more at fishfighterproducts.com.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Fish Fighter Products. They make innovative gear for your boat if you're an angler, whether you're fishing from a power boat or maybe from a drift boat as a fly angler. Speaking of fly fishing, we are talking to a person who has got a whole show that covers nothing but that. His name is Ben Furmisky. He is the president and CEO of the Fly Fishing Show. Ben, welcome to America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks a lot, John.
So, Ben, why don't you tell our listeners about the Fly Fishing Show, which is essentially a traveling show that goes around the country?
Right. We have 7 locations nationwide. We're a fly fishing convention. Open to the public. So it's a show for all skill levels and all anglers, where they can look at any kind of product, visit with travel agents, lodges, talk with pros, authors, attend seminars, workshops, and fly casting demonstrations, continuous fly tying demos, a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything really, and as much fly fishing as you can handle pretty much.
Is it the same group of exhibitors and seminar speakers that goes from show to show across the nation, or do you have a mix of, national folks or folks that are with you, and then a mix of people that are local to the area that are also exhibiting?
John, that's a good question, and it would be the second part. We do have folks that are national that travel with us to all 7 locations. We have some people that might do regional stuff, maybe our East Coast shows or our West Coast shows, and then there's local folks as well. And that could be exhibitors and or our speakers and celebrities. It could be in both categories. We also have a number of folks that are international, and they may attend a location or a number of locations just based on their season or where they're looking to market their business or just what works as far as travel for them.
Let's talk about some of those international destinations. I mean, certainly you're going to have domestic locations and North American locations in terms of the U.S. and Alaska and Canada. But what are some of the more exotic locations that are going to be represented where people can book a trip to?
Well, as far as trips go, all over the place, anywhere you can think of. Exotic, Mongolia, Bolivia, Brazil, Argentina, pretty much anywhere you can think of. The Seychelles, any place that has is known for a fly fishing destination, you can find representation at the fly fishing show.
Wow. Okay, that sounds pretty exciting right there. But even more exciting is the list of celebrity speakers that you have that are going to really dish out some great advice that's going to help anybody up their game. Who do you have coming to the shows this year?
Well, we have celebrity speakers that speak on a variety of things, from some local stuff to general tips and techniques, as well as some of those destinations that you speak of. I don't want to skip out on the fact that they will do lots of presentations, so you can just more or less see a presentation from anybody from all over the globe to get an idea of what the fishing has in those places and kind of fantasize about it, create a bucket list or book the trip. But some of the celebrities that we have across the board are Gary Borger is attending all of our shows. You know, we have people like Dan Blanton or Joe Humphreys attending some regional shows, Jeff Currier, Ed Engel, Simon Gosworth, Wendy Gunn, Landon Mayer, Denny Rickards, Phil Raleigh, to name some of the people that will be speaking at the shows.
All right. Well, pun intended. That's a real cast of characters that people are going to want to see. One other thing to ask here is, are you going to have the traditional things that most people associate with these shows in terms of fly casting lessons, fly tying seminars, that sort of thing?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we have at least one casting pond at every show, and most of the shows we have two casting ponds where we have demonstrations going on full time. We also have the Learning Center sponsored by the FFI that does continuous casting lessons. So you come and talk to those guys and they'll take you aside, and a certified casting instructor will give you tips and pointers, or they may take a group and do a little bit of a group lesson depending on how many people are coming through. But the demos are free to all. The Learning Center is free to all with entrance. We also have continuous fly tying demonstration by fly tyers. We call it sort of our fly tyers row. There's a row of fly tyers at every show that are continually demonstrating, as well as featured tyers that are up on the center stage and demonstrating on a variety of topics.
So, Ben, one other thing we need to tell folks about when it comes to the fly fishing show is that on the first evening of every show, you've got something really special for attendees, don't you?
Yeah, the first evening of every show, after we close the main show floor, we all move over to the International Fly Fishing Film Festival, which we host. That rounds out the day, and it's a great entertainment for everybody to see some wonderful films on the sport of fly fishing filmed all over the world.
So, Ben, let's talk about where the fly fishing show is going to land in the weeks ahead.
Well, this weekend we'll be in Marlborough, Massachusetts, which is the Boston area, January 19th, 20th, and 21st. From there, we go to Edison, New Jersey, which is formerly Somerset, the world's largest show for fly fishing. That's January 26th, 27th, and 28th. From there, we go down to Atlanta, Georgia, February 2nd and 3rd. Linwood, Washington, Seattle area, February 17th and 18th. Pleasanton, California, the San Francisco Bay Area, February 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And then we will return to our home state of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, March 3rd and 4th.
Well, there you go, folks. Lots of places to attend the fly fishing show. If you want more details, go to their website. It's really easy. flyfishingshow.com. flyfishingshow.com. That's the website to go to. You'll find admission prices. You'll find hours of each show. And again, exactly what's going to take place. If you are a fly angler, no matter what your skill level, you're going to want to attend a fly fishing show near you. Ben, thanks for telling us about this on America Outdoors Radio.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Before we hit our next break, I've got some breaking news to share from the outdoors industry. If you're a fan of Outdoor Life magazine, you're going to be sad to hear that longtime editor-in-chief Andrew McKean has lost his job. He's the victim, unfortunately, of corporate consolidation by Bonnier Corporation, who made a, in my opinion, short-sighted decision to eliminate Andrew's position as editor-in-chief and let somebody else who's already probably overworked do the same job. Why do I say it's short-sighted? Well, I'll tell you why. Andrew is a great writer, and he's brought some great stories to this publication that is read by hundreds of thousands of people every month here in America and around the world. And he's done a wonderful job of finding wonderful fishing and hunting stories, many of them from the western U.S., that he brings to the pages of this publication. On top of that, Andrew's a really nice guy and a very down-to-earth person. He doesn't live in New York, where the magazine's published, like you might think he does. Nope, he does, or he did, all of his work from the tiny little town of Glasgow in northeast Montana, where he's been raising his kids and having all sorts of ventures afield in the western U.S. Will Bonnier Corporation find somebody else? Yeah, I'm sure they will. Of that, I have no doubt. But will they do it better than Andrew McKean? I sincerely doubt it. A very short-sighted decision on their part, sacrificing quality for the almighty dollar. Andrew, we're hoping for the best for you. We know you're going to land on your feet, and we look forward to following you wherever your outdoors career takes you next.
Are you ready for your best of the West affordable summer vacation? Hello, I'm Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inns. Many of the big hotel chains will have hidden extra fees for things like parking, internet, so-called resort fees, and lots more. The list is as long as it is sneaky. But at Shiloh Inns and Suites Hotels, there are no hidden fees. Shiloh amenities are all free, like Shiloh's spacious pools and spas, steam and sauna rooms, fully equipped fitness centers, and even the kids stay free. And don't forget that Shiloh Inns also provide a free continental or full hot delicious breakfast at most Shiloh Inns. Now that's affordable excellence. For reservations, call 1-800-222-2244 or visit our website at shilohinns.com. Smoke-free and dog-friendly Shiloh Inns. American family-owned and proud of it.
Two huge events for hunters and anglers are coming to the Northwest. The first is the Washington Sportsman Show, January 24th to the 28th at the Fairgrounds in Puyallup. As big as this show is, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show at Portland's Expo Center is even bigger, with even more outfitters, retailers, boat dealers, and free seminars galore. You won't want to miss these shows, January 24th to the 28th in Puyallup and February 7th to the 11th in Portland.
Where can you find 4 rivers, 3 great fisheries, 2 majestic mountains, and 1 fantastic adventure all year round? Sensational The Dalles. Active community, authentic food, and great beer. ExploreTheDalles.com. Come and create your own adventure, and maybe even you can hook a river monster in the Dalles.
If you consider yourself a hardcore fisherman who takes pride in being the first person on the water and the last one off, Fish Fighter products were designed for you. Fish Fighter products are used by the top fishing guides in the Northwest because they know having the right equipment is imperative to a successful fishing trip. With our Relentless Series tackle trays, rocket launcher rod racks, and breakaway river anchors, you'll spend more time chasing the fish, not your gear. Designed and built right here in the USA. Gear up at fishfighterproducts.com.
Whether you're after trout, steelhead, or salmon, it's time for the annual Linwood Fly Fishing Show, February 17th and 18th in the Linwood Convention Center. Fly fishing isn't part of the show, it is the show. And parking is free. See Gary Borger, Brian O'Keefe, Skip Morris, and dozens of others cast and tie flies. See all the 2018 rods, reels, and tackle in one place, plus fly fishing demonstrations from around the world. If you like fly fishing, you'll love the Fly Fishing Show.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and we've got some news to share with you from the Outdoor Daily News, where we learn Alaska's western Arctic caribou herd is rebounding. After a decade of decline, this is good news for Alaska's largest caribou herd. Counts of the western Arctic herd completed recently from aerial photographs taken during last summer's photo census tallied 239,000 animals, raising the total herd estimate to 259,000. That's a 58,000 animal increase from a year ago. Wow. Kotzebue-based wildlife biologist Alex Hansen said he's been expecting this turnaround, saying during the declining years, adult cow mortality was high and calf recruitment was low. But since 2015, we've observed a positive shift in survival and recruitment rates, with fewer productive cows exiting the population and an increased number of calves joining the herd. Things were bound to improve. Heading from the far north to the far south of the North American continent, I can tell you, there's been a big tuna bite in the Sea of Cortez during the last few weeks. Now, I'm not talking about lots of small tuna being caught here. I'm talking about big, gigantic, gargantuan yellowfin tuna being caught. Where are they being reeled in? I'll tell you, near Loreto and Puerto Escondido, where water temperatures have been in the high 70s during a mild Baja winter. Two of these big fish were caught off a beautiful 40-foot Lure Jensen boat I got to fish off of this summer, owned by Jay Yaden of Outpost Charters. And they topped the scales at over 212 pounds. That was the one they caught the first day. The second day, they caught one that weighed 242 pounds. And you know what? Even bigger tuna have been brought into port by anglers. And the two biggest ones, as of late, were brought in by the same fisherman. His name is Jorge Lazo, and he actually works for Jay at Outpost Charters. I'm pretty sure the boss was impressed when on day 3 of this tuna bite, he brought in a 319-pound yellowfin. But the one Jorge reeled in the very next day, day 4 of the big tuna bite, in case you're keeping track, that was the talk of the entire town. That monster weighed 425 pounds and was a record fish. How long is this big tuna bite going to keep up? It's hard to say, but if you're interested in trying for enough tuna to feed your family for, I don't know, a couple of years, you might want to book a trip with Jay Yaden. His website, it's simple, outpostcharters.com. That's outpostcharters.com. Before we end our show on America Outdoors Radio, we've got to tell you about one more big event coming up in the weeks ahead. It's the Great American Outdoors Show. It's taking place Saturday, February 3rd through Sunday, February 11th at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. With us here to tell you more about the biggest outdoor show in the entire nation is Jason Brown, the Media Relations Manager for the National Rifle Association. Jason, great to have you on the air again.
John, glad to be back and excited to kick off another Great American Outdoor Show season.
Let's go ahead and give our listeners an idea of how big this show is in terms of both exhibitors and attendees.
Well, John, there is no outdoor show in the world that's bigger than the Great American Outdoor Show. It's the largest consumer sports and outdoor show in the world. 650,000 square feet of indoor exhibition space, and you're going to see everything from hunting outfitters, gear, firearms, archery, camping, RVs, boats, fishing. If it's in the outdoors, you're going to find it at the Great American Outdoor Show. We bring in more than 200,000 folks from across the country to this show. This isn't a regional show. This is the biggest outdoor show in the world, John.
How many exhibitors, give or take, are at this event?
We're expecting more than 1,100 exhibitors that are going to be spread out across 9 exhibit halls in this year's show. Of those exhibitors, we've got more than 400 outfitters and fishing charter captains. So it's not just a gear show. It's not just an experience to come and see the latest gear from the hunting and shooting and fishing arenas. You can come here and book experiences in addition to getting your hands on the latest and greatest gear. So it's really, really a gigantic show. I don't think you can do it in one day. There are some folks that say they're going to try, but from the feedback I've received and from being at the show, it's definitely something you try to want to plan your trip and spread out over a day or two.
You know, I was just going to ask you about that. I've been to a lot of Sportsman shows over the years, and some of them are small. You can literally get through them in less than an hour. Other ones, you need to take the whole day. But something like this, it sounds like you ought to plan your whole weekend around attending this show, or if you want to avoid the crowds, a couple of weekdays.
Absolutely. That's kind of the beauty of the show, not only the size and the scope of it, but the fact that it runs for 9 days. So we give folks the opportunity to make and plan a trip, especially if they're coming in from out of town. They can stay in that Harrisburg area, come to the show for multiple days. We do offer a 2-day pass for those folks who want to come in more than 1 day. So it's kind of custom tailored for folks. We understand that it's a massive show, and we have guests that come in every year that they can't get through one of the halls in 1 day, let alone the entire show. So we've built that into the way we design ticketing and the way we've laid out the show to make it easy for folks to come back so they can try to see as much as possible.
You know, Jason, every Sportsman show has a big draw, a big attraction that's going to bring people there outside of all the things you just described. What are some of those attractions? What are some of those draws at the Great American Outdoor Show?
Well, the Great American Outdoor Show is an outdoor show, but it's also a lifestyle show, and there's something for everyone there. You don't have to be an experienced hunter or fisher or boater or angler or camper to find something that you're going to enjoy there. This is a show that's been happening under some name for decades in the region, and it's got a huge following in the central Pennsylvania and eastern United States. But one of the things that is so popular outside of the outdoor sports is the NRA Country Concert, which is scheduled for Saturday night. It's become an annual affair. The second Saturday of the show, we have some of the biggest names in country music that put on a gigantic concert, and it's always been a huge party. This year for the NRA Country Concert, we've got Granger Smith, who was at last year's show, coming back. We've got Locash, and we've got Nate Hosey, who's local to Pennsylvania, opening the show. After the show closes, the doors open at 6 p.m., right in the complex there at the large arena. It's just always been an amazing experience, and it fits in perfectly with the Americana of the Great American Outdoor Show. Spend the day at the show looking around and learning about the best from the outdoors, and then unwind and experience a great country music concert that night.
Well, Jason, we have got to go, but one more thing I want to throw out there is that there's going to be lots of celebrity sightings there, too. If you watch Outdoors TV, if you listen to Outdoors Radio, there's going to be a lot of folks you're going to recognize there. Who are some of the big names you've had in the past there at the Great American Outdoor Show?
Every year we bring in, the biggest and brightest names from the outdoor community. We've had names like Lee and Tiffany Lakoski from The Crush on television. We've had folks like Brian Pigman Quokka in the past. Randy Ortker, one of the best archers in the world. We've had Stone Cold Steve Austin of professional wrestling fame come by in the past. We're still waiting on getting some announcements of some of those big names. We're expecting to have that very soon. The best way to see who's going to be at this year's show, visit us online, greatamericanoutdoorshow.org, and on social media. media. Find us on Facebook. Look up Great American Outdoor Show. That's where all the latest announcements are. And you can get your tickets ahead of time.
The website again, greatamericanoutdoorshow.org. That's greatamericanoutdoorshow.org. You'll find out all sorts of information to help you plan your trip to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania between February 3rd and February 11th to take in the biggest sportsman show in the entire world. There's other shows going on around the country, too, and we're going to be at one of them this week. It's the Washington Sportsman Show. It's taking place at the Fairgrounds in Puyallup, not too far from Seattle and Tacoma in western Washington. We'll have a booth there promoting this show and our regional show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio. If you're in the area, I hope you'll stop by. It's a really big show, lots of fun, and if you stop by our booth, you can sign up for a chance to win $100 in fishing gear from Max Lure Company. Should you find yourself on the World Wide Web in the week ahead, check out our website, AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You can hear portions of our show in case you missed it from last week and find out what's coming up the week ahead. If you want to find out additional news besides what we share on the air, follow our Facebook page and like it. You'll find that at America Outdoors Radio, and you can always hear us on the go and on demand through Podbean and through YouTube. On Podbean, simply subscribe to America Outdoors Radio, and on YouTube, subscribe to the Northwestern Outdoors channel. That's one word, Northwestern Outdoors, to hear this show and our sister show. I'm looking forward to talking to all sorts of outdoors enthusiasts and hunters and fishermen at the Washington Sportsman Show, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you next week, too. I do hope you're blessed in the week ahead, and I hope you get out there to one of these shows, or better still, get outside and enjoy some of what nature has to offer. Remember, it's your country and your outdoors.